to blame." His tone was deeply sarcastic. Guest was a euphemism, as was empathic research facility. Polaris was the facility for corrupted empaths, ones who'd been twisted from harmless pacifists into sadistic paranormal killers. Polaris was part of the Stone Solutions web, but created and run like its own kingdom by Nichols for more than 20 years. Or it had been, before Grayson had come along. He wasn't much older than Polaris itself, but had a lot of opinions about how empaths were treated, even the corrupted ones. The dead man also had the dubious privilege of being completely unique among the country's anti-empathy weapons, and so Traynor had forced Nichols to listen to Grayson's conditions. Nichols wasn't very fond of Grayson, but being liked was just one more thing Grayson had no feelings about. Next to Nichols, the president of Stone Solutions Canada, Vivian Marist, American, not Canadian, despite her role, raised a perfectly arched blonde eyebrow at FBI Assistant Director Jacobs, who nodded solemnly, like he'd understood whatever invisible message she'd passed him. "All of us in this room know that a corrupted empath was behind the murders that took place that day, but Cedric Stone is taking the blame because he masterminded it," Director Traynor said. "Yes, the empath used emotional control to thrall a senator and turned several other thralls loose in a bloody rampage. But we have undeniable evidence that Stone was part of the group that chose to corrupt that empath." Traynor looked like it pained him to admit it, and maybe it did. Traynor had had a long military career before he'd been appointed to run EI, and had known the Stones since their defense contracting days. When you got to the heart of things, empathy organizations were run by money and nepotism, same as most big corporations and government agencies Grayson knew of. "This room is aware of that little distinction," Nichols said, "but your precious public isn't. They only know Stone Solutions lost 3 of its executives 3 weeks ago, and the country is outraged and terrified. Everyone wants to know, who's going to keep them safe from empathy now?" Grayson's watch silently vibrated on his wrist. He glanced down to see a text. "Hey, Reece." Marist cut her eyes to Grayson, then lifted her chin. "Stone Solutions will rise to the occasion, as we always do," she said loftily, and no one would have missed her implication that the dead man sure wasn't rising to the occasion. "But as long as Cedric is still alive, we are not replacing him with a new CEO. The accusations and implications can continue, but Stone Solutions will continue to deny his involvement. Anything else would be tantamount to admitting the empaths have won." Grayson's watch buzzed again. "Reece, you around? I don't know what time zone you're in." The dead man had a job to do, and no time or desire to spare a thought for anything else. And thus Grayson never shared his personal phone number outside of a select, trusted network of folks in the same business he was. At least that had been the case up until 3 weeks ago. "EI should release a statement of support for Stone Solutions as a company. There's something you can do to set people's minds at ease." Jacobs gestured at Marist. "You couldn't ask for a better figurehead to manage this crisis than Vivian here. American Minds Intact loves her, and it would send the right message to the public to see EI supporting AMI's top choice. And the choke collar on the empaths would stay tight, like EI preferred it." Marist gave Jacobs a bright smile as Grayson pulled his phone out of his pocket, keeping an ear on the conversation as he tapped out a response to Reece. "Grayson, how do you have time to text? Thought you were moving today." Some of the directors exchanged nods and glances. "Finally, a voice of reason," Director Nichols muttered as he pushed his glasses up again, his nose still shining with sweat, pale blue eyes bloodshot behind the lenses. "Reece, I'm packing. Grayson, as in